Hi there. Today we're going to be looking at Learning Unit 2, Theme 1, Understanding Multimodality. Now, this is really a very important and a really interesting section of this course. So what do we mean when we talk about multimodality? What we mean is that multimodality means interweaving word, image, gesture, and movement and speech in different ways and presenting them through various media. So what does that actually mean? What it means is when we're teaching, we are using different ways in which to convey our message. We're not just relying on words. So when you teach, you don't just want to stand there in front of the whiteboard with your book in one hand and just talk to the students. Yes, that's going to be part of your lessons, but you don't want that to be the only way you teach because you aren't going to reach many of your learners. So already here we see the connection between multimodality and diversity because every learner has a different learning style. Just remember, every learner can learn through every different learning style, but they all have a preferred method. Now, with multimodality, you are not just catering for diverse learning styles. What's very important to remember is the more ways you learn something, the more ways you understand it. So, if you're talking to a class and then you show them a picture of what you were talking about and explain the picture, now they've learned it two different ways. So you've reached the visual learners, you've reached the listening learners, but all of the learners have two different ways to conceptualize that information, which is a really good thing. Now, we've got technology, we've got all sorts of multimedia methods, we've got all sorts of things that you can do to make your lessons multimodal. And that's fantastic. But I do just want to throw in a reminder here that you don't have to use technology in order to make your lessons multimodal. So if you are writing on the board and you write different sections in different colors, you are using multimodality because you are using the visual clues of the colors to indicate the separate sections. If you divide up the board and you write separate sections into different parts of the board, that is multimodality because you're using spatial indicators to show information. So don't feel that because you don't have access to the latest technology or you don't feel comfortable using the latest technology, that you can't have a multimodal lesson. Of course you can. If you are very au fait with all sorts of new technology, you have a whole new world open up to you. But this is very important. You want to use multimodality in your teaching because it makes sense in that lesson. You aren't going to use multimodality just because you can. So, if you are teaching them, say, grammar, and you are teaching them through a passage, yes, on the worksheet you might have a picture just to make it a little bit pretty, but essentially you are going to be focusing on that passage. You don't need a picture and an audio and a video and the text and you talking. It's just going to become overwhelming and too much. So that is where you have to be very careful with multimodality, is that you use it in the most effective way. So you understand why you are putting in every single bit of multimodality rather than just putting it in for the sake of it. So you need to be able to justify every mode that you use.